The massive screen in the Unified Council's grand chamber flickered with images from Earth. The alien leaders watched in horror as tanks rolled across battlefields, ships exchanged fire on vast oceans, and aircraft dropped their deadly payloads. What they didn't understand was that they were watching historical documentaries, not live footage. "These humans," spoke the council leader, his blue skin turning pale, "they still actively wage war on each other. They celebrate it, document it, study it." His 4 eyes blinked rapidly in distress. The council made their decision that day. Humanity was too dangerous to join the galactic community. They had to be contained, quarantined, before they could spread their violence to the stars. They didn't know that they were already too late. 200 million kilometers from Earth, the HMS Thunderchild glided silently through space. The massive battleship, humanity's first true deep space warship, was a sight to behold. Its dark hull absorbed radar and light alike, making it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Gun turrets lined its sides, while missile pods waited quietly in their housings. Commander James Walker stood on the bridge, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced windows. 20 years in Earth's navies had prepared him for this role, though nothing could truly prepare anyone for being humanity's first line of defense in space. "Status report," Walker called out, his voice calm and steady. "All systems normal, Commander," replied Officer Stone from his station. "We're approaching the outer patrol marker. Nothing unusual on scanners." Walker nodded, running his hand along the polished rail of his command station. The Thunderchild was a marvel of human engineering, built with some reverse-engineered alien technology they'd recovered from crashed scout ships. But its heart and soul were purely human, designed for war by a species that had perfected it over thousands of years. The calm of routine patrol shattered in an instant. "Multiple contacts," shouted the sensor officer. 15 vessels just appeared out of nowhere. They're using some kind of faster-than-light technology. Walker's training kicked in immediately. Battle stations, all hands to combat positions. Bring up the main screen. The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as warning klaxons blared throughout the ship. Crew members rushed to their stations, screens lit up with tactical displays, and the deep hum of the ship's weapon systems powering up filled the air. The alien ships were beautiful in a way. Sleek, almost organic designs that seemed to flow like liquid metal. But Walker had no time to admire them. Their weapons were charging. "Incoming transmission," reported the communications officer. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Put it through," Walker ordered, straightening his uniform. The alien that appeared on screen was tall, elegant, with 4 arms and blue-tinted skin. Its voice came through the translator in clipped, formal tones. "Human vessel, this is the Unified Council Defense Fleet. Your species has been deemed too dangerous for unrestricted space travel. You will power down your weapons and prepare to be escorted back to your solar system, where you will remain under quarantine." Walker looked around his bridge at the determined faces of his crew. Humanity had fought too hard, come too far to be caged now. They had clawed their way to the stars through centuries of warfare, technological advancement, and sheer determination. "This is Commander James Walker of the HMS Thunderchild," he replied, his voice firm. "We are on a peaceful patrol mission in international space. We have no hostile intentions, but we will not surrender our right to free navigation of space." The alien's expression changed to something unreadable. "You have 5 minutes to comply, or we will open fire." Walker turned to his tactical officer. "Analysis. Their technology is more advanced, sir, but their formation is sloppy. No overlapping fields of fire, no proper screening elements. They're positioned like it's a parade, not a combat formation." A small smile crept onto Walker's face. The aliens might have better technology, but they clearly had no real combat experience. They were about to learn why humans were so feared for their warfare capabilities. "All hands," Walker announced shipwide. "Prepare for combat. Let's show these aliens why you don't corner a species that invented the art of war." The Thunderchild's engines roared to life, its massive form turning to face the alien fleet. The first battle between humanity and the Unified Council was about to begin, and the aliens were about to learn what true fear felt like. The space between the ships crackled with tension. 15 alien vessels against one human battleship might have seemed like terrible odds, but Commander Walker had other ideas. "Engineering, give me everything you can from the engines," Walker ordered. "Weapons, load all forward missile tubes. Point defense systems to automatic." Chief Engineer Thompson's voice came through the comm system. "Sir, I can give you 120% power for about 10 minutes before we risk overheating. That's all we'll need." Walker turned to his tactical display. The alien ships were spreading out, trying to surround the Thunderchild. Their movements were precise but predictable, like dancers following a strict routine. "They're firing warning shots," Officer Stone reported as bright energy beams flashed past the ship. "Looks like some kind of plasma weapon." Walker watched the patterns of their fire. These aliens had better guns, but they shot like cadets on their first day of training. They were telegraphing their moves. "Helm, plot course 037, Mark 215. Walker commanded. "Full power to forward shields. Let's show them what a human ship can do." The Thunderchild surged forward, its massive engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. The alien ships scattered like startled birds, clearly not expecting such an aggressive move from their outnumbered opponent. "Sir, they're broadcasting again," the communications officer reported. The alien commander appeared on screen, its blue face showing what humans would recognize as confusion. "Human vessel, cease your suicidal advance. We do not wish to destroy you." Walker ignored the transmission. "All batteries, target the lid ship. Fire when ready." The Thunderchild's main guns roared to life. Railroad-sized slugs accelerated to near-light speed, smashed against the alien vessel's shields. The alien ship's defenses held, but the impact sent it spinning off course. "Their shields are stronger than we thought," the weapons officer reported. "Switch to pattern Delta," Walker ordered. "Let's see how they handle something they've never seen before." The Thunderchild began a complex series of maneuvers, rolling and weaving between enemy ships. It was an old submarine warfare tactic, adapted for space. The alien fleet's formation broke apart as they tried to track the human vessel. "They're firing again," Stone shouted. This time, the alien shots were wild, panicked. Most missed completely. The few that hit were absorbed by the Thunderchild's shields, designed to take punishment from Earth's most powerful weapons. "Launch missiles, pattern spread," Walker commanded. "Then cut engines and rotate 180 degrees." Nuclear-tipped missiles burst from the Thunderchild's launch tubes, each one targeting a different alien ship. The aliens' point defense systems activated, destroying most of the missiles, but they were so focused on the missiles that they missed the Thunderchild's real move. The massive human ship had killed its engines and was now facing the opposite direction, all rear batteries aimed at the scattered alien fleet. "Fire everything," Walker ordered. The Thunderchild's guns lit up space like a new sun. This time, the aliens weren't ready. Their shields were still facing the wrong direction, optimized to stop the missiles, not capital ship weapons. 2 alien ships erupted in silent explosions. A third spun away, its hull breached in multiple places. "Sir, they're retreating," Stone called out triumphantly. The remaining alien ships were indeed pulling back, their formation completely broken. Their neat, orderly battle plan had fallen apart in the face of human combat tactics. "Should we pursue?" asked the helm officer. Walker shook his head. "No, let them go. They need to report back to their council." He smiled grimly. "Let them tell their leaders what happens when you try to cage humanity." The bridge crew cheered as the alien ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel. The Thunderchild's first battle was over, and humanity had proven itself against superior technology. "Damage report," Walker called out once the celebration died down. "Minor shield damage, sir," Thompson reported. Nothing we can't fix. Those aliens don't know how to aim. Walker nodded, looking at the tactical display where the alien ships had been. They'll be back, he said quietly. And next time, they'll bring more ships. But now they know. Humans don't just build warships, we know how to use them. The Thunderchild turned back toward Earth, its hull bearing new scorch marks from alien weapons. The ship had earned its first battle scars, and its crew had written the first chapter in humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. 3 days after the first battle, Commander Walker stood in the Thunderchild's war room, studying the data they had collected about the alien ships. His senior officers gathered around the holographic display, watching as he pointed out key details. Their technology is at least 100 years ahead of ours, Walker explained, zooming in on an alien vessel's engine section. But they have one major weakness. They've never fought a real war. Engineer Thompson raised his hand. Commander, I've analyzed their shield frequencies. They keep them at maximum power all the time, burning through energy like it's unlimited. Because they've never had to worry about conserving power for a long fight. Walker nodded. They've never learned the hard way like we did. The ship's alarm suddenly blared to life. Commander, to the bridge. The speaker crackled. Multiple alien signatures detected. When Walker reached the bridge, he found an even larger alien fleet waiting for them. 25 ships this time, arranged in a perfect sphere around the Thunderchild. They think they've learned from last time, Officer Stone observed. But look, they're still maintaining exact distances between ships, still following textbook formations. Walker smiled. These aliens fought like they were following an instruction manual. Humans had written those manuals too, then learned when to throw them away. Helm, take us into that asteroid field, Walker ordered, pointing to a dense cluster of space rocks ahead. Full power to rear shields. The alien commander's face appeared on the main screen again. Human vessel, your previous victory was impressive but lucky. Surrender now. You cannot escape. Walker keyed the comm. This is Commander Walker. Here's humanity's answer. He cut the transmission. Launch debris charges, he ordered. Small explosives shot out from the Thunderchild, detonating against nearby asteroids. The explosion sent thousands of rock fragments flying in all directions. The alien ship's shields lit up as they were peppered with debris. Their shields are dropping, Stone called out. They're diverting power to their front deflectors. Just as planned, Walker said. Helm full reverse. Weapons target their rear quarters. Fire when ready. The Thunderchild's engines roared as it suddenly changed direction. The massive ship shot backward through the debris field, its guns blazing. 3 alien ships, their rear shields weakened, took heavy damage before they could react. They're trying to regroup, the tactical officer reported, forming into attack squadrons. Walker had expected this. Launch our fake distress beacon. A small probe shot out from the Thunderchild, broadcasting false emergency signals. The alien fleet immediately split up, half moving to investigate the apparent damaged human ship, half staying to maintain their formation. They still haven't learned. Walker shook his head. Execute Operation Solar Wind. The Thunderchild charged straight toward the system's sun. The alien ships followed, probably thinking they had the human vessel cornered. What they didn't know was that human ships were built to handle solar radiation much better than their own vessels. As they got closer to the star, the Thunderchild's special hull coating began to glow slightly, absorbing and dispersing the intense radiation. The alien ships, however, had to divert more and more power to their radiation shields. Now, Walker commanded. The Thunderchild spun around and opened fire with everything it had. The alien ships, their power already strained by the solar radiation, couldn't maintain their shields under the barrage. 4 more ships exploded. 3 others lost power and drifted helplessly. The remaining ships are retreating again, sir, Stone reported, trying to hide his grin. Walker watched the alien fleet vanish into faster-than-light speed. This time, They had left their damaged ships behind. The Thunderchild's crew rescued the alien survivors, who seemed shocked that their defeated enemies would save them. "Take us home," Walker ordered, "and get our new guests comfortable. I want them to see how humans treat prisoners of war." As the Thunderchild headed back to Earth, the rescued aliens watched in surprise as they were given medical treatment, food, and comfortable quarters. They had expected brutality from the violent humans. Instead, they found honor and mercy, concepts their cultural database had never associated with warfare. One of the alien officers turned to his guard. "I think," he said slowly, "we have greatly misunderstood your species." The human guard smiled. "That's okay. Most people do at first." In the great meeting hall of the Unified Council, panic was spreading. The massive screens showed recordings from their defeated ships, displaying the Thunderchild's impossible maneuvers and devastating attacks. "It moves like a ghost," one council member shouted, his tentacles waving in distress. "One moment it's there, the next it's behind our fleet." Another council member stood up, his scales reflecting the dim light. "We've lost 12 ships to this single human vessel. How is this possible? Our technology is superior in every way." The council leader raised all 4 hands for silence. "We have received reports from across our space. Trading ships are refusing to travel near the human sector. Military patrols are requesting double escorts. The name Thunderchild has become a terror story among our people." Meanwhile, aboard the Thunderchild, Commander Walker was reviewing the latest intelligence reports. The rescued alien prisoners had provided valuable information, though not in the way they expected. "Look at this," Walker said to Officer Stone, pointing to a translated alien news report. "They're calling us the Dark Star, a ship that appears from nowhere, strikes without warning, and vanishes again." Stone smiled. "They've even got our size wrong. Some reports say we're twice as big as we really are." "Fear does that." Walker nodded. "It makes shadows grow larger." The ship's AI interrupted their conversation. "Commander, long-range sensors detecting multiple alien signatures. They appear to be civilian transport ships." Walker moved to the main viewport. Through the reinforced glass, he could see the distant lights of alien engines. As the Thunderchild drew closer, the alien ships scattered like frightened fish, broadcasting panic signals in all directions. "They're not even trying to scan us," the sensor officer reported. "They're just running." Walker watched the civilian ships flee. This wasn't what he wanted, to become a monster that terrorized innocent traders. But before he could reflect further, new alerts flashed across his screen. "Massive energy spike," the tactical officer shouted. "Military-grade weapons charging up, but not aimed at us." On the main screen, they watched in horror as 3 alien warships appeared and opened fire on their own civilian vessels. The traders scattered in panic, their distress calls now even more desperate. "They're shooting their own people," Stone asked in disbelief. "No," Walker growled, understanding dawning on his face. "Those aren't council ships, they're pirates, taking advantage of the fear we've created." All hands to battle stations. The Thunderchild's engines roared to life as it charged toward the battle. The pirate ships, busy targeting the helpless traders, didn't notice the human warship until it was too late. "All weapons, target the pirates," Walker commanded. "But watch your fire. Avoid hitting the civilian ships." The Thunderchild's guns spoke with authority. The first pirate ship, caught completely by surprise, exploded before it could even raise its shields. The second tried to fight back, but found itself outmaneuvered by superior human tactics. The third attempted to flee but discovered why the Thunderchild had earned its fearsome reputation. When the battle was over, the civilian ships hung motionless in space, probably expecting the dreaded human warship to attack them next. Instead, Walker opened a channel. "This is Commander Walker of the HMS Thunderchild. Do any of your vessels require assistance?" The silence that followed was long. Finally, one brave alien trader responded. You're helping us." But you're the Dark Star, the terror of the spaceways. We're soldiers, not monsters, Walker replied. We fight those who attack us or threaten others. Nothing more. Over the next few hours, the Thunderchild's crew helped repair damaged civilian ships and treat injured aliens. Word of this spread quickly through alien communication channels, adding a new dimension to the Thunderchild's legend. Back in the council chamber, the leaders watched these new reports with confusion. First, they defeat our best ships, one member said. Then they rescue our crews. Now they're protecting our traders. What kind of warriors are these humans? The council leader stared at the image of the Thunderchild helping civilian vessels. Perhaps, he said slowly, we should reconsider our first impression of humanity. They're not just warriors. They're something far more complex. The fear was still there, but now it was mixed with something else. Respect. Commander Walker stood in the Thunderchild's data center, surrounded by glowing screens filled with alien text. After their recent battles, they had captured enough alien computers to finally understand their enemies better. This is interesting, said Officer Stone, pointing to one screen. According to their records, the last real war in Council space was over 500 years ago. 500 years of peace, Walker mused. No wonder they don't understand us. The ship's translator worked through mountains of alien documents. School books, military manuals, and historical records painted a picture of a society that had forgotten what real conflict meant. Commander called out the data analyst. You need to see this. It's their first report about Earth. The screen showed Earth's television broadcasts, which had been reaching alien space for decades. Movies, documentaries, news reports, all about war. World War I footage, Vietnam documentaries, modern combat reports. The aliens had seen it all. They thought these were all current events, Stone said, shaking his head. They believed Earth was one constant battlefield. Walker understood now. So when they saw us building spaceships, they panicked, Stone finished. They thought we would bring endless war to their peaceful galaxy. Meanwhile, in the Council's military headquarters, alien analysts were having their own revelations as they studied human history. Look at this concept, one analyst said to the Council's military leader. They call it tactical retreat. They actually plan how to lose battles efficiently. Another analyst chimed in. And this term, acceptable losses. They calculate in advance how many ships and soldiers they can lose and still achieve their goals. It's terrifying. The military leader watched footage of the Thunderchild's battles again. Now I understand their movement patterns. They're using tactics from something called naval warfare, fighting on their planet's oceans. Back on the Thunderchild, Walker was reading about the Council's military doctrine. Their ships were amazing pieces of technology, but they were designed to show power, not use it. Their crews were trained to follow strict rules and formations, never to think creatively. Their entire military is built around the idea that showing up with superior technology will make the enemy surrender, Walker explained to his officers. They never considered that someone might actually fight back. The ship's AI interrupted with an urgent message. Commander, we're picking up long-range communications between Council ships. They're mobilizing their entire fleet. Walker moved to the tactical display. Hundreds of alien ships were gathering, forming the largest fleet ever seen in Council space. They're finally learning, he said quietly. They're not underestimating us anymore. In the Council war room, the military leader addressed his captains through holographic displays. Study these human battle records. Learn their tactics. They use something called strategy, the art of winning before the battle begins. One captain spoke up, but sir, their ships are primitive compared to ours. Their weapons are basic. Their shields are weak. And yet, the military leader responded, one human ship has defeated our best crews again and again, because they understand something we forgot. War isn't about having the best weapons, it's about knowing how to use them. The Thunderchild's crew worked around the clock, preparing for the coming battle. They knew they had taught the aliens to fear them, but now the aliens were learning, adapting, trying to understand human warfare. "They're studying our history," Walker told his crew during a briefing. "Learning our tactics. The next battle won't be like the others." Engineer Thompson raised his hand. "But sir, isn't that a good thing? Maybe once they understand us, they'll realize we're not the monsters they think we are." Walker nodded slowly. "That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Sometimes you have to prove how good you are at fighting to show why you'd rather have peace." As both sides prepared for their next encounter, something unexpected was happening. The aliens were beginning to understand humans, and humans were beginning to understand the aliens. Fear was slowly being replaced by respect. The coming battle would be different, not just a test of weapons and tactics, but a chance for two very different cultures to finally understand each other. The vastness of space was shattered by the appearance of hundreds of alien warships, their hulls gleaming in the starlight. The Council had gathered its entire fleet for one final battle against humanity. Commander Walker wasn't alone this time. Two new human battleships, the Defiant and the Warrior, had joined the Thunderchild. 3 ships against hundreds, but these were human ships, crewed by veterans who had spent their lives studying warfare. "Enemy fleet approaching," reported Officer Stone. 427 ships, arranged in attack formation. Walker opened a channel to the other human captains. "Remember your history, captains. We're Nelson at Trafalgar. We're Nimitz at Midway. We're outnumbered, but never outmatched." The alien fleet's commander appeared on screen. His blue face showed no fear this time, only determination. "Human vessels, we have studied your tactics. We have learned your strategies. Surrender now." Walker smiled. "You've studied our old battles, but humans don't win by fighting the same way twice." He cut the transmission. "All ships," Walker commanded, "execute Battle Plan Thunder." The 3 human ships suddenly split apart, each heading in different directions. The alien fleet's perfect formation wavered as commanders tried to decide which ship to follow. "They're splitting their fleet," Stone reported, "just as we predicted." The Thunderchild drove straight into the heart of the largest alien group. But instead of firing its weapons, it released hundreds of small objects. "Decoys away," the tactical officer reported. The objects were simple, just metal and electronics broadcasting false engine signatures. But to alien sensors, it looked like dozens of human warships had suddenly appeared. Chaos erupted in the alien fleet. Ships turned to face phantom enemies, firing at shadows. Their perfect formation collapsed into confusion. "Now," Walker ordered. The 3 human ships struck from different directions. The Defiant attacked from above, its guns tearing through the disorganized alien ships. The Warrior struck from below, launching missiles into the gaps in their formation. The Thunderchild, meanwhile, did something the aliens never expected. It rammed straight through an enemy ship's shields. "Shields at maximum," Engineer Thompson shouted as the Thunderchild's reinforced hull smashed through alien energy barriers that were never designed to stop physical objects. The alien fleet tried to regroup, but they had already lost their advantage. Their carefully studied tactics fell apart as the human ships seemed to be everywhere at once. "Sir," Stone called out, "the alien flagship is changing course. They're attempting something new." The alien commander had learned from human history. His ship led a desperate charge straight at the Thunderchild, sacrificing shields for speed. "They're learning," Walker nodded with respect. "But so are we. All ships, execute Maneuver Delta 7. The 3 human ships suddenly came together, forming a triangle. Their combined shield power created a pocket of safety in the middle of the chaos. "Fire everything," Walker ordered. "Show them humanity's full strength." The space around them lit up as all 3 human ships fired every weapon they had. The alien fleet's center was torn apart by the concentrated firepower. But the aliens fought back with their own new tactics. They had learned about coordinated attacks, about sacrifice plays, about the importance of timing. For hours, the battle rage. Human cunning against alien technology. Experience against numbers. Neither side willing to give up. Finally, as debris from both sides floated in space, the alien commander called for a ceasefire. Commander Walker, the alien's voice carried newfound respect. We have lost 90 ships. You have proven your point. Walker looked at his own damaged ships. They had survived, but just barely. We never wanted to prove our skill at war, he replied. We only wanted to prove we deserve to be treated as equals. The alien commander was quiet for a moment. Perhaps we have been fighting the wrong battle all along. You have shown us that understanding war does not mean loving it. As the alien fleet withdrew, leaving their dead and wounded to be helped by human crews, something changed in the galaxy. The aliens had feared humanity's warfare, but now they saw something else. A species that fought fiercely when needed but showed mercy when possible. The battle was over, but its true impact was just beginning. 1 month after the Great Battle, the Thunderchild floated peacefully in orbit around a neutral space station. Its battle scars had been repaired, but the memories of combat remained fresh in the crew's minds. Commander Walker stood in his dress uniform, preparing to meet with the council leaders. The massive station's conference room was designed to hold representatives from dozens of alien species, but today it would host a historic meeting between humans and the council. Hard to believe we're here, Officer Stone said, adjusting his own uniform. A month ago they'd wanted to quarantine Earth. Now they're talking about alliance. Walker looked out the window at the alien ships floating alongside human vessels. Sometimes you have to prove you can fight to show why you'd rather have peace. The council leader entered with his delegation. His blue skin had regained its healthy glow, and his 4 eyes showed curiosity rather than fear. Behind him walked the alien fleet commander who had fought in the final battle. Commander Walker, the council leader began, we have spent much time studying your species since our last encounter. Walker nodded respectfully. And we have learned much about your council as well. The alien fleet commander stepped forward. You could have destroyed more of our ships, but you chose to help our wounded instead. This is not the action of the warmongers we feared. Humans don't fight because we love war, Walker explained. We fight because we've learned the hard way that peace must sometimes be defended. The council leader gestured to a large screen showing scenes from Earth, but this time, they weren't showing more documentaries. Instead, they showed schools, hospitals, families in parks, scientists at work, and artists creating beauty. We made a terrible mistake, the council leader admitted. We saw your wars and thought that was all you were. We never looked at what you were fighting for. Engineer Thompson, who had been invited to represent the technical crew, spoke up. Our technology might seem focused on warfare, but that's because we had to learn the hard way. Every weapon we build is meant to prevent war, not start it. The alien fleet commander nodded slowly. This is why you train so hard for battle. Not because you want to fight, but because you want to be ready if you must. Exactly, Walker said. The Thunderchild was never meant to be a terror. It was meant to be a guardian. The council leader raised all 4 hands in a gesture of peace. Then perhaps it is time for a new chapter. The council needs guardians, ships and crews who understand both war and peace. He pressed a button, and a new image appeared on the screen. It showed plans for a joint human-alien defense fleet, combining council technology with human experience and tactics. We offer Earth full membership in the council, the leader announced. Not despite your military knowledge, but because of it. You can teach us to protect peace, not just enjoy it. Walker looked at the plans with interest. The new ships would be impressive, alien technology guided by human wisdom. But more importantly, they would be symbols of cooperation between 2 very different cultures. And what of the Thunderchild? Stone asked. The ship that taught the council to fear humans. The alien fleet commander actually smiled. The Dark Star will be remembered not as a symbol of terror, but as the ship that helped 2 cultures understand each other. Through combat, we learned respect. Through respect, we found peace. Later, as Walker stood on his bridge watching human and alien crews working together on the space station, he reflected on their journey. The Thunderchild had fought battles, but its greatest victory wasn't won with guns or tactics. It was won by showing that humans could be both warriors and peacekeepers, both fierce and merciful. "Commander," the ship's AI announced, "the Council is requesting our help to train their first joint human-alien crew." Walker smiled. "Tell them we'd be honored. After all, someone needs to teach them the difference between showing power and knowing how to use it." As the Thunderchild moved to dock with the station, its hull gleamed in the starlight. It was no longer feared as the Dark Star, but respected as the ship that bridged two worlds. Through its battles, it had achieved something greater than victory. It had won understanding. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if they too were celebrating the beginning of a new era, one where humanity's knowledge of war would help maintain a lasting peace.